Hey, Amy. Good to see you. Hey, Margaret. Hey, Joan.
Hey,
Good to
Rooney,
see you.
good to see you.
I'm stoked that you're joining us today.
It's nice to be here live instead of watching the videos late.
I know, right? I
Yeah,
know.
they've been late. Yeah.
Cool. Right on. I'm excited that you're here. So, guys, we're just going to wait, like maybe another minute or so. I'm just curious, Amy, Margaret, Katie. Thanks for joining us, Katie. Um, And Joan, too, I'm curious if just for like as people are showing up, like if you're open to it, I'd love to maybe you could put on the chat like how are you doing today on a scale of 1 to 10? Like how are things? And I'll share. I'm feeling like I'm like at a 7.5, I would say today for me. Good to see you, Amy.
What?
Good to see you, Margaret.
So, so Rooney, what's awesome is that Katie and Corey are my colleagues who
Oh,
showed
I
up, which
love
is
it.
so awesome.
That's right. Oh, I'm so happy. That's great. Good stuff. I'm so
Thank you.
glad you're with us.
And Katrina's here too, another colleague.
That's
She
awesome.
representing. It's
Yeah.
so nice to see all these faces here, and
Ah,
yeah, we're checking in on where we are.
yeah.
It's great.
Good stuff. So, yeah. And again, if you're open to sharing, you can just put it on the chat. And let me just go ahead and get started. Joan, I'll mute you for just 1 sec, and then I'll introduce you and you can take over. So, awesome seeing all of you. Thank you for being here with us. Um, so, in a moment, I want to get into why I'm so stoked about today, but I just wanted to just share two quick announcements again for those of you who haven't heard yet. I've posted my course up online. I know some of you have taken advantage of it, and I'm so excited, like to see some of you signed up. So that's great stuff. And in case you're interested and want to sign up, I'm just going to put up the links. The course is called Teaching with Joy and Resilience Through COVID and Beyond. And it's on Teachable. And it's pretty simple. I'm just going to give you the link. I'd love for you to share it with anyone any educator that you think can benefit from getting like good tools on how to connect with students online through distance learning. Because there's a lot of tools I put a lot of tools in there, a lot of strategies, a lot of games that they can play with students to connect with them online to make teaching easier. And I also provided a lot of tools to help the educator with their own well-being. So the link to the course is here. If you do want to sign up, or if you know other people want to sign up, make sure they take advantage of our coupon code. The discount is 50% off. So EQ Courses 2020. Then if you want a free resource or you want to share a free resource with others, I created this guide called 6 Strategies to Deepen Relationships with Students Through Zoom or Google Meet. And I'm just going to put that on the chat as well. So you can take advantage of either of those. And yeah, I really hope that you do and that you invite others to take advantage of them. So I'm stoked to see everyone here today. And the reason for that is because today we have an amazing guest speaker joining us, Joan Young. And I want to tell you a little bit about Joan. So before I read you her amazing bio, I want to share that Joan and I have known each other. I feel like we've met about 7 years ago or 8 years ago, actually, interestingly, at an educational technology incubator called Imagine K-12, where both of us essentially worked as consultants there. But through that, basically both of us realized that our educational technology, like we like to, we have an interest in that, but really our passion is in wellness and in positive psychology and in supporting educators and teachers in how to be well and prevent burnout and all of that. And throughout the years, Joan has spoken at my conferences. I've also followed her work, and we've had coffees, and it's just like every time we connect, it's a joy for me. It's just like fills my cup, and I learn new things, and I just and deeply, deeply honored that you're here with us, John, and that you accepted to do that. And I love Corey's like, yeah, that's right. So I want to just read. I want to read you Joan's bio, and then I'll pass the baton to Joan, and she can take us over what I think is going to be a really amazing webinar today. So Joan Young is a counselor and self-science teacher at Keys Middle School in Palo Alto. She's also a national board certified health and wellness coach who is dedicated to helping women care for themselves in the same excellent way they care for others. Joan has written 2 educational books, one published by Scholastic and the other by ASCD, and is currently creating 2 courses, one to help teachers find their own path to health and well-being, hopefully preventing burnout, and the other to help administrators create cultures of health and well-being in their schools. She coaches teachers and individuals and group sessions and loves opportunities like this to connect and learn with other passionate educators. You can learn more about Joan at joanyounghealthcoach.com. And I can put that link up on the chat in just a moment. So without further ado, I'm going to unmute you, Joan, and mute myself, and you can take over. Thank you again so much for being with us. You're amazing.
Thank you, Roni, and thanks for building that up. So we got the bar here. Let's, we're all teachers teaching in this time on Zoom, and it's nice to see adult faces instead of little gray squares that represent middle schoolers who don't want to be on camera. So thank you so much for being here. I'm honored to be here with you, and especially at this time when our time is so precious. So I packed in as much time as I could in this short session. And I wanted to start by bringing us all here, where we are in this moment, not what we ran from or our kids out there. But we're going to do an exercise called 3 breaths that I heard Rick Hansen do on a podcast last week. And I'll put the link in, hopefully, in the chat afterwards. So it's called 3 breaths. And it's to calm and center us. So on the first breath, as we breathe in, we're going to think about just our chest expanding. So we're going to take just a deep breath in and exhale longer than that inhale. So and on our next breath, as we take that breath, we're going to envision someone that we care deeply about. So as we take our deep breath in, we have that person, and our long breath out, keeping them in our mind. And in our last breath, we're going to think about someone who cares about us. And it could be your pet, could be a human, anyone who cares about us. So we'll take a nice long breath in. And a nice long exhale out. And that is a great strategy for when you're feeling frantic, maybe not very confident. You're about to get on a call and you're like, oh, my technology's not working. It's a really grounding practice to kind of calm down our nervous system. So thank you for doing that with me. Today, I want to focus on a topic that's really near and dear to me, and it's looking at ourselves from a strengths lens, from a what's right with me lens, and not a what's all the ways that I need to get better lens. So, Roni, do you want to share, did you pull up the VIA website? And I'll highlight that a little bit before we get into our exercise. All right. So you can pull it up. Should I share my screen, Roni, or are you going to do that?
So Joan, you could try to share your screen. I'm happy to share mine if you prefer. So,
it should work. I wasn't sure if I was,
if it doesn't work, let me know and I can share mine.
well, let me try. It should work. All right. Wasn't sure the permissions.
Yeah.
So here we go. You guys can see it?
Yep.
All right. So some of you might be familiar with VIA Strengths, and it's basically a framework where you can take a free survey, and you don't even have to take the survey. You can look at the strengths, and we'll look at them a little bit later. It's a way to see what's strong in ourselves, what matters to us, and to think about what are the experiences that make us feel most connected and most tied to our purpose in our lives. So it's backed by a lot of science. There are 24 character strengths that are based on philosophies and science from a long history of psychology. It comes from positive psychology, two of the pioneers in positive psychology. So you can always look at that later. I just wanted to introduce that as our focus today. And I'm going to stop sharing. Did I stop sharing, Ronnie? my little stop sharing disappeared.
We can still see.
Oh, there we go. You can still see it. All right.
Oh, there you go. Now you stop sharing.
Messy desktop. Sorry about that.
All right, it's all good.
Right. So what I'd like you to do, we're going to do a little journal writing. Hopefully you have a pen nearby and a piece of paper. And I'm going to give you a prompt. And in the interest of time, probably about 4 minutes to do this journaling. You can always correct me, Roni, if you think we'll need a different amount of time. Basically, the prompt is to write about a time when you felt proud. And as you envision this time when you felt proud, I want you to note any sensations that come up and jot those down. You can do bullet points, whatever you like. I'm going to be quiet in just a second. Put a timer on and give us all a few minutes to write about when we felt proud. And if you have any questions, you can let me know.
And Joan, as they're writing, I might play some music just so it kind of holds the space a little bit.
Perfect. All right. So it's hard to interrupt that process because I'm sure you're all in a lovely state as you think about that time, and hopefully you're able to access that time. I want to share with you now. I'm going to share my screen again. And I want you to look at this description of character strengths. Let me move this little bar out of the way. Where is that? Okay. And I want you to look at this list of strengths and see if any of those connect to the story that you jotted down, that time. Real quickly, I thought of a time when I made my grandson a birthday cake shaped in it was a dinosaur, and it was very tricky. It took hours and hours and hours. And what stood out to me is the love that it took to dedicate that time and energy, and my creativity and my zest came out in that experience. So as you jot down just a few things that stand out to you in your story, what I want you to also think about, and we're going to go to breakout rooms in a second and talk a little bit about this, is, are any of those strengths, would any of those strengths or any of these right here come in handy right now with the challenges you're facing in your life? And so to sort of apply these strengths, whether those came out in your story or some other strengths that you know that really are needed right now. And I was hoping to share this PDF. I'm not sure. Oh,
so I already put it in the chat.
Amazing.
Joan, yeah.
Great. So when you go to breakout rooms, you'll have that as well. So
one thing, so just logistically, I think that when you go to, I think they'll have the chat, but just to make sure, if you want to just click on that link just so you have it with you right now before I break you into groups, that'd be awesome.
Oh, perfect. Okay.
Yeah.
So just to reiterate, as you grab that document, if you'd like it, it's not a test, you don't have to grab it. I'd love for you to talk about what it was like to identify those strengths, and if any of those strengths seem particularly vital for you right now in this time.
Cool. Perfect. And now I'm going to go ahead and put us into groups of 3.
Perfect.
Three or 4?
Doesn't matter.
Here we go.
I don't see you.
Nice. What a cool pair.
Yeah.
Nice.
I could start if you
Yeah,
want.
go for it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. So, what I'm proud of a lot of things, but this one particular thing, I always wanted to be a parent. And so when I found out that I was pregnant with our first son, I was really thrilled because it was something that I really wanted. And of course, I prepared for all of that before doctor's visits, listening to my mother, which was important. And then, of course, the final day came, and there he was, beautiful and healthy. And now he's grown into a wonderful man who is kind and empathetic, very loving, and I am proud of the person he's become very much.
Beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
And Margaret, I'm curious, what strength from that list did you kind of see in that story?
Well, love, of course,
Right.
and then gratitude that things worked out so well.
Yeah. And do you feel like you could use any of those strengths now, like nowadays?
Well, I am
Like,
using them.
nice.
I am using them.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I talk to myself every day about these things and
Oh,
about
I
how
love it.
they are. Yeah,
That's
I do a lot
awesome.
of self-talk.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing that.
You're welcome.
That's a beautiful, beautiful story. Yeah.
Nice. I can share. The first thing that came to mind, and I decided to just go with it, was the feeling of being on a team in high school and college, and just like, I think it's because like I don't know, it's just like in a very immediate sense of pride when you win. So it came to mind right away. But as I thought about it, the strength of like perseverance and bravery and teamwork came up for me, and just like I mean, I feel like those are all very useful right now, and we need all of them right now. I'm feeling grateful for the teamwork that's happening at my school and like with our, with colleagues and with families. But also I think bravery struck me too, as like, we're all needing extra reserves of that, I think, right now. And just being able to both identify that we need to draw on that, but then also having a team to do that with has been helpful. So yeah.
Good.
Beautiful.
So for me, when I first saw the question, it was kind of funny. I was like, God, I never really think about what if like feeling proud. It's something I don't, for some reason, I don't know. It's just not something I think about very often. So that's a whole nother story there. But I would say most recently I finished my teacher preparation program, and I decided to share it on social media, which usually I'm kind of a person who doesn't use social.
I wrote about a successful book swap. And it's just so wonderful. So we do this thing at Keys where we have squeezed into like another activity, an opportunity for kids to donate books and receive new books and read with other kids. And it is so wonderful, and it's like a lot of moving pieces, and it is a great, it's a great community event. But it takes a lot of work, and it's just like universally great when it works well, and it has worked well in the past, and every time it's just like, oh my, it's just so wonderful. So I highlighted perseverance in the courage area, and also the love of learning. It just feels really exciting to gain in the ability to do kind of community events like that. And I wrote down some other proud moments, and they all had that in the strengths, love of learning. So I am excited. I keep feeling like in this moment, wow, look at this opportunity. I get to do this. Look at this. I've been trying to do something like this, and I get to experiment with that. And in a low threshold kind of way, because the administration is like, sure, go, sure, yes. So I feel a lot of wonderful opportunity, and that I feel like keeping with the love of learning and now adding some humor with kids, especially being like, that didn't work. And yeah, so that's I want to hold on to the love of learning.
Thanks.
Awesome.
Thanks for both of you for sharing those. Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Rooney, what came up for you?
You know, it's interesting. What came up for me was being proud of releasing this course out, you know, and like and not buying into all the gremlins, you know, like the stuff from the gremlin, and just like putting it out there. And and the strengths that came with it is love of learning, because there was a lot of learning taking place, but also perseverance was a big thing. And I think that, and by the way, also love, and the ability to love and be loved, like loving myself as I go through this process of like launching things online and like being new at it and all that, you know?
Yeah.
So, and I definitely can use all, I mean, I use them all the time now, and it's kind of cool to have that awareness of like, oh yeah, like boom, 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 these are it, you know?
Yeah. And it's so easy to forget them.
100%, totally.
They don't like
exactly.
hit you in the face every day, like, here are my strengths. I'm
Yeah,
gonna use them.
Totally.
I wish.
I know, totally. Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah.
So,
Oh gosh,
I'm wondering if we should go back. Should we go back?
Yeah, I think so.
Thanks for that, Joan. That was really awesome.
Thank
Nice
you.
talking to you guys.
You too. Nice to meet
Good to
you.
see you, Colleen. All right. I'll see you guys in the main session.
People are probably enjoying their chatter. That's
Yeah,
good.
I love it. I love it. It's good stuff.
Share with you as everybody's coming back. My new thing.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know you didn't have time. Sorry.
Oh no, it's okay. No, this is called a Hue drum, and it's this beautiful instrument that plays an octave. And I just got it the other day. I ordered it a month ago, and it's the most grounding, beautiful thing to hear chimes, to be able to play with it and experiment and make good sounds and not so good sounds. So
Will you play it for a moment? Yeah.
So
oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Nice.
So I was sharing with everyone something that goes with creativity and my love of learning. It's called a Hue drum, and I don't get any commission for this, don't worry. I discovered it because sound is a very therapeutic tool, especially at a time like this. So listening to birds, listening to music, and something about the vibration of these chimes, this drum, has really helped me center. So I know where did the time go? I don't know, Roni, but
yeah, I know. It flies by.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the conversation in the breakout room, and I see smiles, and I hope this brought to you the incredible strength you have within you, because with just a swipe of a screen or a moment, it's frustrating. I was telling Roni, those strengths don't show up in my face every day. And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to use that one. It's like, oh my gosh, there's so much wrong with me. I can't do it. But we have them at our disposal. We can make reminders and mantras and ways to remind ourselves that we are whole and strong and worthy. And so I really thank you for this time together. You can find me on Facebook, Joan Young. You can find me at joanyounghealthcoach.com. You can find me at Key School. But I really appreciate it, Roni, for the opportunity to be with you here. And yeah, that was a quick wrap.
Joan, thank you so much. I so deeply appreciate you being with us. It's such a, not only an important reminder, but I think you created it in such a beautiful way for us to internalize the strengths that we have, you know, and to remember them and be aware of them. I was telling Joan in my breakout groups that what I connected to was, you know, putting this course out online. There's a lot of strength that came that I really used, you know, like love of learning, perseverance, but also love, like the loving and the ability to be loved to myself. And I think, as there's all these fears that can come up. And I think that bringing that force to our awareness, like, whoa, like we are so resilient, like there's so much that we have, and being aware of that and seeing that is so powerful. So thank you, Joan. And I highly recommend you all actually take the VIA, take the test. It's like, it's about, 200 questions or something. It's going to take a little time, but do it, because it's really informative. I found that it's quite helpful for me. So
yeah, and it's free. That's
free.
great.
Yeah, totally. So thank you again, everyone. In a moment, I'm going to unmute us all, and what I'd love to do, if you're open to it, is do like a big power whoosh for everyone. A whoosh is basically, it comes from the heart center. It's like good, basically sending everyone acknowledgement and good energy for being here and supporting us. And it comes from the heart. I'm going to go 1, 2, and we're going to go whoosh. And everyone's like taking everyone's energy and love. All right. So get into grid view. I'm going to unmute everyone. Let me just see if I can do that here. Unmute all. All right, y'all ready? Here we go. 1, 2, and a whoosh. Nice. All right, you guys. Have a wonderful
Thank
yeah,
Thank you. Thanks,
Thank
Joan.
you.
everybody.
Have a wonderful week. I'll see you on Tuesday.
All right.
Next week's going to be amazing.
Okay.
All right, y'all.
Thank you.
Bye.
See you later. Have a great week. Yeah, take good care.
You too.
Have a good one.